Hello, this is Melissa Vestal with the Alleghany Educational Foundation, and we are here in our third in our series of Alleghany Voices as we look to find ways to support students as they look at their post-secondary journeys. So I'm here today with our intern. We've been fortunate to have an intern with us from Alleghany High School this semester, Miss Graciela, and Graciela is going to soon fill out our application here with the Educational Foundation, and we just wanted to hear her take on maybe some strategies that she has to complete a successful application that will appeal to donors as they come in and look at some of the awesome things that our students are doing in our community. So we'll just jump right to it. Our local scholarship application is getting ready to begin on January 1st. And we do that on purpose every year. We open it up on January 1st and we give students 23 days to complete this application. It's our slogan, easy as 1, 2, 3, and we'll talk about that in a minute, how easy it is. But it is also a yearly thing where we can make sure that our student body understands that every 23rd of January, 1, 2, 3, this application is due. So I'm going to go ahead and let Graciela start out by introducing herself.
Hi, I'm Graciela Olvera. I'm a senior at Alleghany High School, and I'm currently actually working on scholarships this month. So it's kind of been stressful because I have to balance it out with my schoolwork. But I'm glad that this scholarship is very easy, and 23 days is enough time, I think, and it really works well for like busy students.
Very good.
So I think just the first question that most students are like wondering are where to find it, like the
Okay, that's a great question, Graciela. So we make this available. First of all, we send this to our guidance staff who will send out a link. It's an electronic application. You can do all this online. So we'll send a link out to the guidance department and they will get that application out to all students on the 1st of January. There will be a link where you go. It's a Google form, so it's something that students are familiar with. So that is how you'll receive that. You can receive the application, but it will also be available on our website. Our website's a pretty up to date. We pride ourselves in keeping that keeping our website so that it is usable and accessible and up to date for our students. So that application could actually be found on our website as well on the 1st of January. You could probably find it now. It's just not going to be open to answer any questions until the 1st of January. That's an excellent question. So you have any other concerns about the application before we get started that maybe we could address just right off the bat?
What's the most important piece that you have to submit?
Oh, I like that question. She's got great questions. It's the personal essay for sure.
Yeah.
And Graciela knows she's been working on her personal essays all semester. Actually, I think she started this past summer working on some of her personal essays. It's very important because it's your opportunity to just tell us who you are. Everyone has an individual story that makes them unique. And so that's what we want with a personal essay. We just want this piece of the personal essay should not be things that are already found in the application, all of your demographics and things like that. It needs to be personal, and it needs to be your story that makes you unique. But that is a very good question. And when donors see these applications, they will see the student's name, and then they will see their personal essay, because that's the most important thing to our donors, I feel like. That's a great question, though. So let's just talk about a few of the details. I'm not sure about the applications that you've been filling out. Graciela is very, she is ahead of the game in a lot of ways, and she knows she's gathered her information to have so that she can just drop it into our application when the time comes. But you'll have to have like all of the demographic information just like normal, like your name, your address, Make sure that you have a phone number that you think that you're going to keep, because we do send out text messages and information concerning other opportunities for our students. And number one with demographics is to make sure you don't put in your school email on any application, right? Why not, Graciela?
Because after high school, you lose your email, and it's very important to have one that you can find other emails. Emails sent to you through that.
Right, and an email that you check.
Right.
Make sure that you put an email in there that we can get information to you, because there are some opportunities that we offer throughout the year, and that's our first line of communication is through an email. So that's really important. And then we ask for other things like your parent or guardian's name and how many people in your household are attending school. Do you have other people that are in college in your household right now, Graciela?
Yes, one of my older sisters is attending ECU right now, and she just finished her first semester.
Oh, awesome. And what is her major?
She wants to be a physical therapist.
Oh, awesome. Yes. Yeah, we're very proud of her. So make sure your family will have 2 applications to complete. We talked a little bit with Graciela about this, but our renewal applications also open on January 1st, just like the senior applications. And a renewal application is for students who are currently in post-secondary education, maybe in their 2nd, 3rd, or 4th year. They can apply to receive some renewal scholarships. And we never know how much those are going to be, but we work really hard to increase that each year so that students can receive at least a little bit of support from their community and the Educational Foundation. So thanks for sharing that about your sister. You looking forward to her coming home for Christmas?
Yes, she's coming home today, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. I've got one that's coming home tomorrow, so I'm pretty excited about that too. It's been a long semester, but a fruitful one, I'm sure.
Right.
Do you mind? Let's go back to the personal essay for a minute. It's just so important.
Yeah.
So, when you were thinking about writing your personal essay, like what kind of things did you think about when you started figuring out like what your focus was going to be?
I just tried to think of like the most pivotal moments I've had in my life.
Oh.
As like the most like life-changing things, or like little things or big things that have changed my perspective in life and in what I want to do. And I kind of just brought that all together into my essay.
Great advice, and that's what you'd advise others to do, I'm sure.
No, for sure.
Yeah. It can be a little bit scary writing these personal essays. We have the opportunity to go up during college application week, and even in August we start helping students write these personal essays. And sometimes they put those essays off because it's the hardest part of the application, just to be honest. I wouldn't say it's the hardest. They think it's going to be the hardest. But once you get writing that essay, it kind of just flows out of you. If you're writing about the right thing, you know, you got to be writing about the right thing. So you just need to maybe share your dreams, your goals, why you're ready to take that next step in education, or what just drives you, like Graciela said, things that were pivotal things in your life that really just changed your lives. So, I mean, you could talk about taking naps and eating snacks if that's part of what your future plans are going to be, but probably not. You know, you've got a lot to say about yourself, and let's we can't wait to read those essays. That's one of my favorite things to do in those applications is to read through the essays. So, Graciela told us that just make sure that you put in there what makes you a little bit unique. What are some other things that you could put in that essay? Probably wouldn't have to put it in the essay because we're going to ask for it later on in the application, but what are some things that you could talk about?
Most definitely, if you did any volunteer work or experiences that you did through like school, definitely add that into it, especially if it like impacted you in a way. Then I find it very important if you do that. Very
good. It just shows how awesome you are and the awesome things that you have done. And we'll jump ahead just a little bit. There are some opportunities for you to put some of those things in our application. There are opportunities for you to put in the application, if you played high school athletics or you were involved in any kind of clubs or you had any accolades or awards that you would like to let us know about. There are certainly places in the application where we encourage you to put those in if you had any kind of work experience or things like that. But there are some optional questions we need to talk about. And we made them optional because not everyone has something to say about these prompts, but many of you do. So financial information. I don't know, Graciela, like if you've had to complete applications yet where you've had to talk about any kind of financial information. But we make that question optional because one thing that Graciela might choose to put in this application is that she's already got an older sister in school, and that that's a lot for a family to have two students in school at the same time. So that might be something she includes. Other things that could be included in this financial question are things like, if your family has recently gone through some sort of unemployment, or you were affected drastically by the hurricane, or there are lots of different things that you can put in this financial question that could show a donor that you are in financial need. Some donors look at that. Some donors are very particular and they want to look at that financial need question. If you haven't answered it, then they wait to look at your question later or at your application later. So that's a really important question for some donors. I think it's not a bad idea to answer that question. So there are also some questions about work experience. Graciela, do you have any work experience that you would be able to put into this application? And if you don't have work experience, you may have some sort of like community involvement that you've had or some things like that. So what would you put in that question?
So I do Upward Bound, and it's a summer program. And over the summer, they had us do community service. And so my first year, I did clean up Town of Boone. So we went around like cleaning up the town of Boone for 2 hours, I think. And then my second year I did gardening with elders, and so I helped them garden for 2 hours 5 times a week, I think.
Okay. Yeah, that's exactly the kind of things that we're looking for. That shows your interest in helping your community, that's supporting you through these scholarships. So yeah, that's exactly what we're talking about, are opportunities there where you served your community, or your school system even. I know you were involved with one of our programs here with the lots of our programs actually, but really heavily involved in our High School Heroes program. So that might even be something that you could talk about in this essay. Tell us a little bit about what you did with that program and how you might incorporate that into this application.
So I worked with the Trojan Tracks Career Fair Extravaganza. So we visited Glade and Piney School. And our first school was Glade, and I think they're my favorite group, actually. They were very entertaining, and we chose the University of Tennessee because we did research on what they wanted to do and which university would suit them best, and that was the university. And they had a lot of fun doing research on how it suits them and what they want to do and how college works and everything.
Very good, very good. We appreciated you going in and being a leader. There's a question about leadership opportunities. So you could talk about that leadership opportunity that you had through the Ed Foundation. So there's one question in here, and this may excuse me, take you a little bit by surprise, but there's one question that asks about your 5-year plan. Like, what is your 5-year educational plan once you graduate from high school? And that's going to look very different for everyone. And there's really not a wrong answer there other than to choose not to answer that. Do you have a 5-year plan?
So I really want to attend a 4-year university, and I want to go into entrepreneurship and business. And throughout those 4 years, I really want to focus on not only the education of it, but the experiences, the real world experiences that I can get and the connections that I can find throughout those 4 years.
Very good. Very good. Yeah. Okay. So That's one of the questions that a lot of our donors look at and really appreciate knowing kind of what your 5-year plan is. As I'm looking through the application as we're talking, and one question is, do you want to not apply for one of the scholarships that we have? And there right now there are about 130 scholarships that you fill out one application, and it will put you in the running for the all 130 scholarships. So there is a place on the application where you check the ones that you do not want to apply for. So if you want to apply for all of them, you don't check anything. But if there's some that you look down through and you're like, well, I know, like I've got a family member that's like my brother or something, and you can't apply for that one, then you could check that one, and then we would take you off of the list to be in the running for that scholarship. But that's just one. Don't check that box unless you have some that you do not want to be considered for. So there's also a place where you can talk about many of if you have connections to the U.S. military, or if you feel that you are an extremely patriotic person, you could appeal to a donor in that way. Another question here is if you are particularly talented artistically, which I would not be able to answer this question. I don't know about you, Graciela.
Definitely not.
Which is okay, it's okay. But there's an opportunity here for you to talk about your artistic talents, and then you could actually upload, or you could take some of your artwork or samples to the guidance office, and they would get them to us so that donor could look through that. So do you have anything else that you would like to say about this application as we wrap things up? I've got a couple more things I wanted to talk about, but I want to get your input.
Do you recommend still submitting the optional questions even though they're optional?
I do recommend submitting the optional questions even though they are optional, especially if you have something to say. As I'm reading through one of these questions, it is about lessons that we learn from obstacles that we encounter. So that is also one of the questions that is optional, but it would give you the opportunity to really express if you have had hardships or things have happened that have kind of been speed bumps along the way. You would be able to express your some of the things that you have done to overcome some of those things. There are some things at the end. I don't know. Have you gotten people to write reference letters for you?
Yes, I had to do that for college applications.
Right. So this is optional on our application. You don't have to include those reference letters, but there's a place to upload them. And I do recommend, if you have them, upload them. I mean, there's no point in not using them if you have them. So that will be something there that you can put up that if you have them, go ahead and upload them. If you have a resume that you've made, go ahead and upload the resume. There are places where you can just upload things that you think might be kind of cool for that scholarship committee to review. So you give us permission whenever you're applying for us to receive your ACT scores and your high school transcript. So you don't have to print off any of that. You give permission there on that application for us to see that. And basically that's it. I mean, most of the things that we're asking that you submit for our application, you already have.
Yeah.
Or there are things that you can get ready by the time that it opens. You've got a good while off here in the next couple of weeks that you could be doing that. So is there anything else that you would like to say as far as the application goes? I think Graciela could attest. Like, if you have any questions about the application, feel free to give us a call. Our number is 336-372-5010, and we have an office space. I've got a couple of parents and their families coming in throughout the rest of this week to ask for some help on some other applications. So that is also a service that we offer. So if you have any questions, do not hesitate just remember, like, get scholarships are so important. I think people, like, it's so simple, but it's money in your pocket. Okay, and it's like it's money. Whenever you receive a scholarship, it is money that is taken off of that bill whenever you get ready to go to school, and as much money as we can help you get, either through our foundation or other foundations, we certainly want to make sure that we are doing that. Make sure you get your FAFSA completed. Have you worked on FAFSA at all yet?
Yes, I have.
Okay, I figured you had. She's on the ball, I'm telling you. So if you've not completed FAFSA yet, it's okay. Our application is due by the 23rd, but we don't require that FAFSA be completed by the 23rd. As long as you have completed your FAFSA application by the time we get ready to send out checks in July, then you are golden. And as long as the school lets us know that you have completed that FAFSA application by the time you get ready to go to school, you are going to be good to go with that. And that's kind of how that works. We'll meet again with you in April to let everyone know at the senior celebration what scholarships they've received. We'll meet with you again to get you to sign off and accept the application or the scholarships that you've received. And then we send out the checks in July. So that's kind of how the process goes, and we're excited about everything. Get on those essays if you've not gotten on those. If you've got a good sense of humor, incorporate those into your essay. Or if you have any questions, just feel free to give us a call. Okay. Anything else, Graciela?
All I have to say is good luck.
Great. Yeah, good luck, and we'll talk to you in the new year.